This week we're going to be talking about UX and UI and flow. And these are some really important concepts for both web design, physical design, and application design. So if you take more courses within the Digital Innovations program, you're going to be encountering these principles over and over and over again. And UX simply stands for user experience. And whenever we talk about user experience, what we're talking about is what does the user encounter as they interact with our product. In this case, I'm going to be substituting product for website since this is a web design class. So my user experience on this website, Wink, which is a wine website, they sell wines and they have a kind of wine delivery service. So my user experience would be what do I encounter whenever I visit the website? What happens whenever I mouse over certain things? How do I react? Do I immediately start scrolling? Do I click certain buttons? How do I know what's clickable? How do I know what's not clickable? So it's taking a user-centered approach to design. Oftentimes in design, we get so focused on visuals and aesthetics that we kind of get wrapped up in that and don't actually think about user experience. So UX always works through this idea of the user first, putting the user first, having it, some people also call this human-centered design, but having it be a very approachable design philosophy. So on Wink, for example, as I scroll, the navigation's always at the top. I can find my information quickly. I can read what this website is. We make great wine, period, right? This is a great example of user experience where I encounter this site and immediately I'm confronted with all these things. There's an arrow pointing me down that's even animated as I roll over it. That moves me to a kind of back and forth story that I can read about it. And we're going to go over this website in more detail later. So to be clear, there is a lot of research in UX design. And we didn't just come to these conclusions overnight that, oh, it's good to have, drop-down menus and it's good to have categories at the top left of your screen or buttons on the top right of your screen and all these other things. These are coming from years and years of research through user experience. And that research is driven by testing with, thousands of people, using websites, seeing what works for people, what doesn't work for people, surveys, all these different things, what sells and what doesn't sell. And then all of that research is then incorporated into UX design. So whenever we think about this stuff, we're not just doing it willy-nilly. Like, I'm not just putting this menu up here because I think it looks pretty. We're doing it because it's backed by all of this research. Now, if you dive deep into UX, which we're not going to get into too much in this class, we're really just going to talk about it for web design and a few little principles here and there. But if you dive deep into UX research and UX design, what you're going to find is that there is a lot of psychology that goes into this. There's a lot of talking about, in the UX community, talking about psychologically what we're trying to do to our audience or to our user. What do we want to convey to them psychologically with these colors, with this font, with these menus, with the wording such as get started, right? There's all of this sort of psychology going into this that's thought about. UX doesn't just include visual design. It includes, like I said, writing, but it also includes audio design. So there's a specific reason why Alexa, whenever you say the word Alexa, and sorry if I'm setting off your Alexa right now, but whenever you say Alexa or OK Google or any of these other types of home voice-activated phrases, it responds in a certain way. That all comes from a ton of research that's done, and that's all part of user experience as well. The color of the lights on the machine, the way that they animate and that they kind of spin around whenever Alexa turns on, that's all basically from years of research that's been compiled and decided upon. Okay, this is what we want to convey to our audience. We want them to feel, safe or comfortable or whatever. So in the case of this website, right, what do they want them to feel? What do we want our users to feel whenever they go to our site, whenever they experience it? And what is our call to action that we're trying to get them to? So that's just the very basic overview of what exactly UX is. UI stands for user interface, which is just the actual visual components of UX. And then that last concept of flow is basically how a user moves through our site. So flow would be, they visit our site. Do they click this? Do they click that? Where are they going? So, okay, I click buy a gift. And then I scroll down and I scroll back up. All right, so that's all part of flow. And then I click get started and then I start filling this out. This is all part of the flow of the website. So flow is just the actual interaction. So UI is kind of the visual part, and flow is the actual action or the interactive part of this. So that really covers UX, UI, and flow. And in the following videos, we're going to get into some deep topics such as navigation, what navigation system is best for your specific website design, colors, into all different types of things, and how we're going to work through those in our actual projects.